Hi, everyone. It's me, Krylios, Team Racing Productions MC and producer. And joining me right now is Jason Fowler. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you, Krylios. Thank you for having me on your show.
Certainly, it is great to have you here. So I just want to start this off with having you introduce yourself to our audience and telling them a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone in the audience. My name is Jason Fowler. I'm running for the Maryland State Senate. I was born and raised here in Maryland. My family has been here since people started showing up on boats from Europe, basically. Since the early 1600s, my family has been in Southern Maryland, which is where I'm running. The district where I will run is in Prince George's County, in Calvert County, and in Charles County. I basically grew up, playing sports like most kids in the area. I'm from working class roots. I'm the grandson of a school bus driver and of a 602 steam fitter. So I like to think that, despite the fact that I'm a lawyer now, I really try to represent working families and working people because that's my roots and that's where I came from. A lot of those days of, working hard and having those family meals and things like that were kind of standard in my house. As a child, and all of that came from the labor movement. So it's something I'm very passionate about. But
Certainly.
I'm getting geared up and ready to run a good race and hopefully represent people of this district well.
All right. Talk to me a little bit about, why this year have you chosen to run for state senate and why this position?
Sure. So actually in 2018, I ran for the Maryland State of the House of Delegates. And I ran in District 27C, which is in Calvert County, which is definitely a little more rural and certainly a little more red than the district I'm running in now. We had the most votes in district history. We did more doors than anyone had ever done in the district. We knocked on almost 9,000 doors in our campaign. And this is in a rural district. So there were nights that we only did 10 doors because we were going 30 miles back on farms. So we really put the work in last time around because we believe in the issues that we're talking about. And we believe that when there are problems in society, that there are means to fix them. And that is through our law system and making sure that people have opportunities that maybe wouldn't be afforded to them otherwise. Why am I running now? Honestly, I think the Democratic Party is experiencing a strong divide in terms of what our values and what our morals look like. I believe that it's mostly split between kind of centrists and progressives. That's kind of the vibe that most people kind of use for that. But honestly, for me, it's really about our values as what Democrats represented in the past and what we should represent going forward. And that is being of working people. The Democratic Party used to stand for that. And of late, the Democratic Party looks very similar to the Republican Party. They're taking large checks from large corporations. They are denigrating our environment and stripping our schools of adequate resources, protecting bad actors like, police officers that are abusing their power or other officials that are abusing their power, or they themselves are abusing power. And for me, we need people in government that care about people. And I think that that's like kind of the floor for politics for me, and policy comes afterwards. And I feel like we're really lacking that. And for me, that's the type of person I am, and why I want to be in politics to begin with is that I care about people and I want people to be able to lead successful lives and take care of their families. And I don't feel like the representation we have now does that.
And that's so important. And speaking of policy, what would you say are, the three biggest issues that you'd like to tackle if elected to state senate?
Sure. So the first is kind of criminal justice. This has been a big issue in Maryland of late to begin with. This past session, we passed a slew of reforms, quote unquote reforms in Maryland. And some of them are actually very good. There was a lot of positive bills that came out of the last session. However, there was a lot of stuff that was watered down. And I believe that, like we had police accountability boards is a great example. The thought process with that was that we would have, citizen review and oversight of police misconduct in the state. The problem is that when they drafted the legislation, it doesn't do that. It doesn't mandate that citizens be involved in it. It could be an entirely retired police force that sits on those boards, and it's based on a county by county basis. Nor do these boards have subpoena power, which is what you would need to actually get records and to produce documentation to present a case. And so all of that really boils down to that it's in name only, right? I mean, we talk about like Republican in name only, or we hear that a lot with Hogan or something, but the reality is this is in name only in terms of policy, and this is what I'm seeing kind of across the board, is that we, as Democrats, at least Democrats in the legislature now, are putting bills up that are saying that they're going to solve a problem, but they really won't solve it, because they create all these carve outs and all these exceptions that allow the same behavior to exist under the guise that it's going to be eliminated. Another great example is no-knock warrants. We had a bill that came up this past session to eliminate no-knock warrants, and the legislature cheered and they were like, "Yay, we got rid of no-knock warrants." Well, the lawyer is going to tell you that didn't happen. There are numerous carve-outs in that bill that allow for no-knock warrants to continue. We look at situations where Black and brown communities are taken advantage of within these particular warrants, and they are killed in their homes, and sometimes even defending themselves, like Breonna Taylor. So we need to make sure that from a legal standpoint, we're creating laws that are going to, truly have blind justice. And I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that from the leadership that is there. And I'm certainly not seeing it from my opponent, who stripped many of those police reforms and was one of my major reasons for wanting to run for this seat.
Certainly. Wow.
In respects to, I'm only going to give you two because I've been kind of long-winded, but the second thing that's really important to me is the environment. I have a 4-year-old daughter, and my daughter will be 4, in February, and I have a son who is 2, and I just had a baby girl who is like 2 weeks old. So I have 3 kids, and for anyone that has kids, and even if you don't have children, having family alive on planet Earth means that we have to take care of it, and we have to be stewards of our planet. We have abysmally failed in that respect over generations and generations. And it's time that we take that, it's time that we make that a priority going forward, not just for ourselves and our own health, but for the longevity of our species. We need to do it. There's really no question that is what is necessary. We have a lot of bills that are shovel ready, as I would say. They're written, ready to put forward. We want to do reforestation in the state. We want to create an oyster bank sanctuary that would basically create a Chesapeake Bay reserve that would have 360 trillion oysters, which would be enough to clean the bay in a day. Creating reserves for that to really bring our water quality back to what it was in pre-industrial times. We want to make sure that we're investing in green technology, like, whether it be windmills or, geothermal power or solar power. We really need to invest in what the future looks like for the next generation and the generation after that. I'm a old millennial now at 33, but we have a lot of time left on this planet, and we have a responsibility to others to make sure that we take care of it in a way that is necessary. The other thing that I want to work on as well is PFAS pollution. I don't know if you're familiar with PFAS at all, but
elaborate,
or your viewers. But it's a chemical compound that is a per or polyfluoroalkyl substance. I know that's like very technical and very scientific, but basically it breaks down to it's a chemical that's used in a lot of commercial products. A great example is like sofas. They coat it over sofas or couches. They'll use it on like cables, like electricity cables. They'll spray them for coating purposes, computers, other things like that. Basically, what it does is it's a heat insulant, and they used it a lot historically in like firefighting foams and things like that because it controlled temperature.
Yeah.
What we have found on a chemical basis is that it's a carcinogen. It can kill people. It can cause cancer. It can cause numerous fetal issues for pregnant women. And it's something that actually affects my district. It's affected my district since I ran in 2018. And the person I'm running against has done nothing about it in office. And it's something that we need to take care of. Currently, Chesapeake Beach is a town in my district in Calvert County. And there have been independent tests there that have shown that over 100 parts per trillion of this chemical is in the water, in the drinking water that people have. Now, to give you context for that, University of Wisconsin study showed that if there is more than 2 parts per trillion of PFAS in your drinking water, that is a risk. So we are 50 times over what is, and that's just in one little town where this is a concentration. So we need to, create rules to ban the substance. We need to make sure that we're cleaning the environment that is there. We also have to look at our seafood fisheries. When people are eating crabs and oysters, I have scientists that have told me that they are seeing thousands of parts per trillion in individual pieces of seafood like crab or oyster. And these are things that people eat here every day, or once a week, maybe not every day, but once a week or so. And that's a huge problem. That's a safety issue. That's a health issue. And we need to change those things. So those are 2 of the many things that I would like to get involved with and why I'm interested in politics. But these are the things I really like to work on in Annapolis.
Certainly. And so how's the campaign been so far? How has it been? And I know you have 3 young children as well. So how has this entire campaign been for you so far?
It's been good. I mean, ultimately, we really played the grassroots approach to campaigns. I did that same thing last time. We don't take corporate PAC money. We are a true door knocking campaign, and that has not changed. We talk to people, we talk to voters. And I know that is not what most campaigns do, but that is what we do. Because I believe that if you don't have the masses behind you, then you probably shouldn't be in the position at that point. So that's what I aim to do. We're hoping to knock on over 10,000 doors before the primary is completed, and I think we're on track to do that. So that's kind of our approach.
Certainly. And tell me, what makes you, Jason, the best choice for the voters?
I mean, I think for me, I'm the only person that was born and raised in this district. So I was born in Clinton, Maryland, which is in Prince George's County. I grew up in Calvert County. I went to high school in Prince George's, and now as an adult, I live in Calvert County again, and I work in Southern Maryland, which includes, Charles, Calvert, St. Mary's, and Prince George's County. So I am as through and through as you can get in this area in terms of being a local, right?
Yes.
The other thing for me, it's a value thing about what I stand for, and that is I would like to fix problems for people, whether that be from a criminal justice standpoint or from an environmental standpoint or just a business standpoint. I run my own businesses as well, and I feel like I'm uniquely positioned to do that. As a lawyer, you have a good lawyers that are ethical are a dime a dozen. You want those people in your corner. And for me, not taking corporate PAC money, we have sent checks back from fossil fuel companies that have tried to buy our favor. We just don't. We're not going to stand for corruption at any level, and that's going to start here at this local level. That we are going to stand by our values no matter what. And if people adhere to that, I think that's something that's good. I was involved in 2021. I was in the Maryland Public Leadership Institute class of 2021, which is a progressive Maryland class for young progressives that were seeking office to learn more about what to do and just network and things of that nature and learn how to be better candidates and talk about issues that matter to people. I've done a lot of public interest work as an attorney. I do a lot of representation for people who can't afford a lawyer at no charge to them. And so, I try to do as much as I can to do good for other people. And I think, again, that's really where we need to be for our politicians. We need to set some standards that are actually worthwhile. And that's what I'm about. So I hope, your listeners and people within the 27th district, kind of adhere to that and see me for the person I am and hopefully vote for us on election day. So
I love that. When does voting start and when's election day?
Sure. So there'll be Maryland voting in Maryland. So Maryland recently basically legalized mail-in voting kind of continuously. There were
Mhm.
exceptions where it was kind of, you could apply and they would basically give it to you, but now it's kind of more standardized given the pandemic. And that typically starts a month before the election day, which is
Mhm.
on June 28th of 2022. So roughly, end of May, most people would be able to get a ballot mailed to them if they choose to
Mhm.
go that route. If they would like to do that, they can go to the Maryland board website to check that out. And then there's also early voting within the state, and your local jurisdiction should be able to tell you where you need to go for that as well. We'll also post it on our website, so feel free to check it out there.
Awesome, awesome. And I want to remind our viewers that if you want to make sure that your vote's ready, check your status or register to vote, you can text Team Racine to 40649, courtesy of HeadCount.org. Jason, how can people keep up with you, keep up with your campaign, what you're doing, and find out more information and support if needs be?
For sure. So our website is votejasonfowler.com. It's very easy. Feel free to go on the website. We have a subscribe button where you can go in and link onto our mailer. We send out roughly a monthly mailer that kind of tells you what we've been up to within the last month and what activities or fundraisers or events that we'll be hosting throughout the season. We hope to have a couple of town halls in the early spring, so people get a better idea of policy behind some of the varying things that we are advocating on, so people have a chance to learn a little more about us on the policy side.
Certainly. And to our viewers, the links will be in the description of this video. Jason, thank you so much for joining me today. It has been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for always accepting our invitation to come on. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for having us. I'm a big fan of Racine, so this is awesome, and I'm a fan of yours as well. So I've been
Thank you.
watching. I've been watching. So I'm excited to actually get on the show myself and see
Thank you.
the posters
Thank
behind
you.
you and everything. It's like really
Thank you so
so,
much. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and follow Team Racine on social media. And to our viewers, thank you for watching. Bye, everyone.